ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing me to address you on a fascinating topic. Troy Aikman. Born to Ken and Charlene Aikman in Southern California, it didn't take Troy long to climb to the top of the junior sports programs, all the while enjoying the glamours of a Southern California lifestyle, not far from Disneyland, Hollywood, and places like Venice Beach. Then, about the time he entered junior high, it happened. His parents moved him to God's country, Henrietta, Oklahoma. Not far from dirt roads, he lived on one, a place called Teen Town. I'm not really going to discuss that with you. And the only beach we had was a sandbar on the North Canadian River. And then to top it all off, you go from being a Cerritos Don, which I don't know what that is, you have to help me, I don't know, to a Henrietta Fighting Hen, a chicken, a girl chicken? Are you kidding me? That's like naming your firstborn son Sue. Troy quickly became a four-sport star at Henrietta. At his NFL induction speech, he gave credit to his former football, baseball, and basketball coaches. But he left out one, his other coach and mentor, Miss Froman. She coached him in the perils of typing, at which he earned a scholarship to Oklahoma State Tech in Okmulgee, Oklahoma. I still am struggling and don't know why he chose to run the wishbone at OU instead of an IBM Selectric at Okmulgee Tech. Enough of the silly stuff. We know Troy is a great athlete, and I know him as a great friend. But he also has many philanthropic endeavors. He started the Troy Aikman Foundation, which is a charitable organization that provides financial support for the physical, psychological, social, and educational needs of underprivileged children. Troy firmly believes nothing is more important than the health and well-being of the children in our nation. Troy's established end zones, which are interactive playrooms, in several children's hospitals located in Texas and Oklahoma. In addition, he's established a scholarship at our high school and endowed a scholarship at UCLA. It's my honor to introduce not only my hero, but my best friend, Troy Aikman.
We call him Goat, okay? Good job, Goat. Last time he did that for me, it was a roast, so I, was a little uneasy as to what direction he was going to go. Good work. Let me just say, it is a real honor to be back here in the great state of Oklahoma, and it's an honor to be inducted into the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. Pretty good stuff for a guy who once backed up Jamel Holloway. See, those of you who got that, you're showing your age just like myself. That was a long time ago. I'd like to thank the selection committee, the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame, as well as congratulate the fellow inductees that went in here this evening. Don Demeter, Michelle Smith, really wonderful people. It's especially an honor for me to go in alongside with Ricky Bryan and Pete Incaviglia. I was a little disappointed, as I know a lot of you all are, that Pete wasn't here. I haven't seen him in a long time. We're all saddened by the fact that Ricky's not here. I had a chance to see his family. Stevie Bryan I played with at Oklahoma. Just a really tremendous family. And great to see you guys here this evening. I kidded with I didn't kid. I was being serious. I was talking to Stevie, and his brother Mitch is here as well. I didn't play with Mitch, but I did play with Stevie. And so I asked Stevie, I said, so what are you guys doing these days? He says, well, hey, we're out there on the farm in Coweta and, raising cattle and raising soybeans. And as I told him, I said, you Bryan boys, y'all always were a hell of a lot tougher than I am. So, and that's the truth. And Ricky Bryan was as tough as they come. And I would have loved the opportunity to have played alongside him. He left in '84, just as the time when I was coming in. Had a chance to play against him in the NFL, but a hell of a player. I've got a little family here, not a lot, but I would like to acknowledge them. I won't go through name by name, but my mother, Charlene Aikman, my two sisters, Terry Starnes, along with Tammy Powell, her husband, Mike Powell, their sons, Reed and Drew, and then my sister's soon-to-be husband, Rich, their daughter, Brooke, and her boyfriend, Mike. If you would stand up, I'd just like to have you acknowledged, if you wouldn't mind. And then I've got two little girls that are here tonight. My two youngest, they're Irish twins. They're 11 months apart, so we kind of hit this deal here in the cycle to where they're both the same age, and they're not twins, but it's hard to explain. They're both 8 years old currently. My soon to be 9 and 8, but my two beautiful daughters, the light of my life, Jordan and Allie. The road to this moment began many years and many miles ago. Darren touched on it, Southern California of all places. One of the great stories in American history is the migration of Okies to California. Well, the Aikmans, we decided that we'd do things a little bit differently. We went from California to Oklahoma in search of a better way of life. My first 12 years spent in Southern California were magical. I rode my bike everywhere. Every day revolved around going to the ballpark, playing baseball, playing basketball, practicing, shooting hoops, whatever it was, but everything revolved around sports. And then my father decided to buy 170 acres in Henrietta, Oklahoma. Why Henrietta? I don't really know. But that's where it was. So, for most of Americans in the summer of 1979, that time represented uncertainty as our country dealt with a sluggish economy and long gas lines. But for a 12-year-old boy packing boxes and leaving a lot of great friends behind in the state of California, the summer of 1979, I'm afraid to admit, represented that my life had just ended. But how wrong I was. For starters, it's where I met Darren Leslie. And when I got to Oklahoma, as I said, it was in the summer. And so I began football practices prior to the school year starting. And Darren didn't play football. So I didn't know him prior to the start of school. And when school started, I see this guy. He's as tall as he is. He was as tall as he is now. He was a lot skinnier. He was about 110 pounds. Nothing but flesh and bone. And he had a cast on each arm, like this. And he was walking around and, down the halls. But everybody knew him, and I didn't know him because he wasn't playing football. And I'm like, who is this guy? And they said, well, that's Darren Leslie. He's a great friend, this and that. I said, what happened? What's with the cast? What's going on there? And they said, well, he's got a farm, his family does out in Okemah, and he's trying to break a horse. And I said, I'm from Southern California. I said, break a horse? What do you mean break a horse? I'm thinking if you're trying to break a horse, that horse probably going to break you. And that's exactly what happened. So that was my introduction to Darren Leslie. His birthday is September 10th, comes at the start of the year. I'm invited to attend his big birthday party. I don't know him. I just see the cast. I think the guy's some kind of freak. And I don't attend the birthday party. And to this day, he never has let me forget that I didn't attend his birthday party. It was like the rudest thing that had ever happened to him that I didn't go to it. But I will tell you this. There are people in this room, I'm quite sure, and there's people that I certainly know, that if you were to ask them who their best friend is, they would have a hard time giving you an answer. And I've known, excuse me, I've known who mine is for the last 30 years. And that's been pretty cool. So. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to this farm that we lived on out there in Henrietta, Oklahoma. So we moved out on a farm, 170 acres, about 7 miles outside of town, and we lived out on this dirt road. And if you live on a farm, then you gotta have farm animals, right? Can't have a farm without animals. So we had farm animals. We had horses, we had pigs, we had chickens, we had goats, you name it, we had it. Not sure why, but we had it. And each morning, part of my responsibilities and part of my chores were to get up, feed the pigs, feed the chickens, help feed the cows. And each day, my parents taught me that anything worthwhile requires hard work and commitment. Now, to get into town, we'd have to get into this truck that we had, and we'd have to drive down this dirt road. This dirt road wasn't an easy road. In fact, it was a hard road. And it wasn't always the smoothest of rides, but it always got us where we needed to be. And then once I got into the town of Henrietta, population of about 6,000 people at the time, I came across some of the greatest people that you'd ever meet in your life. And from day one, when I got there to Henrietta, they embraced me as their own. And they showed me that who you are is more important than what you do. They taught me a lot of other lessons that I still carry with me to this day. And they taught me that only in giving can you truly receive. They taught me that while it's important to do things right, it's more important to do the right things. Of course, Henrietta is where I began my athletic career in junior high and high school. And as Darren said, it was the Fighting Hens. And no longer the Fighting Hens, or I don't even know if they're fighting anymore, but they're the Knights. And but what I remember about those years, as someone who moves into this small town, is just completely embraced by them and is thought of as one of their own, is that on Friday nights, the whole town would come together as one and support our teams. And it was another lesson that I learned while I was there in Henrietta, was that sports is bigger than the players, and that to really achieve anything, it takes everybody coming together as one. And so as life moved on, I had a brief stop at Oklahoma University. I then went on to UCLA, and then on to 12 years with the Dallas Cowboys. And in doing so, I left Oklahoma, but Oklahoma never left me. Girls like it. Girls like it. You know, whether it was throwing a poster out to Michael Irvin in the Super Bowl, whether it's currently talking football with Joe Buck on Fox on Sundays, whether it's trying, and I emphasize the word trying, to teach my young daughters to clean their rooms. I've never forgotten the values of this great state. Hard work, responsibility, teamwork, and compassion. You know, one of the biggest myths in the world is the myth of the self-made man. I think everybody here would agree that everybody needs a team to succeed, and I'm certainly proof of that. You know, I may have lived in Texas the longest, but it's Oklahoma that's made the most impact on who and what I am and what I believe. So tonight I say thank you to the people of Oklahoma, and specifically to the fine folks of Henrietta. It turns out the dirt road that led from our farm took me a long ways in life. I'm grateful it was the route chosen for me. It was a hard path, hasn't always been smooth. But I found that the dirt road is the only real road in life. And it's always gotten me where I need to be. It's a pleasure to be back in Oklahoma tonight. It's a pleasure to be joining the Oklahoma Sports Hall of Fame. And I say thank you.